Hello students, today we are going to study the human digestive system. The human digestive system starts from mouth and ends at the anus. It is made totally of 9 meters long and the whole digestive system can be divided into digestive glands and digestive organs. In digestive glands, you have salivary glands, liver, pancreas, gastric glands, and intestinal glands. In digestive organs, you have mouth, stomach, small intestine. Now, we are going to just have a general idea of the digestive system. See over here in the mouth, you are having salivary glands. Mouth passes to the esophagus, and esophagus, here you have the stomach, and from the stomach starts the small intestine from here. This is the small intestine starting. Now the diameter of the small intestine is small compared to the diameter of the large intestine. You can also see that the small intestine is a highly coiled structure. Now the small intestine is divided into duodenum, the C-shaped part that you can see. This is the duodenum. It further comes to the jejunum, and finally here is the ileum. The ileum part of the small intestine opens into the large intestine. Here you can see the large intestine. This is the appendix part. Now here in large intestine you have the rectum and this is the anus. And this part ranging, this part is called the colon. This is called the ascending colon, transverse colon, and finally this is the descending colon. Now the digestive glands. This is your salivary glands. This is your liver. This is the largest digestive gland of the body. This is pancreas. Now the liver secretes bile. Bile is stored in the gallbladder. Here there is pancreas which secretes pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice is going to contain pancreatic amylase, pancreatic lipase, and trypsin. Then this duodenum part comes to the jejunum, finally the ileum. Most of the digestion part is completed in the small intestine. Also note that the intestine of the herbivorous animals is longer compared to the carnivorous animals because this increased length of small intestine allows for more time for cellulose of plant cell walls to be broken down by microorganisms. So now let us start with the process of digestion. Now here I am giving you some notes where you can see that the alimentary canal is a long tube extending from mouth to anus. Various types of nutrients has to pass through the same digestive tract. What do you mean by nutrients? Nutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. Now generally there is a breakdown consists only of carbohydrates, proteins and fats. Now food enters the mouth and is crushed into small pieces. Food is wetted with saliva from 3 pairs of salivary glands. Now what is digestion? Digestion is when the complex food is broken down into small pieces which can be absorbed into blood easily. This food is broken down with the help of enzymes, as you all know. Now what happens in the mouth? In the mouth, saliva mixes with the food and contains an enzyme called salivary amylase. Okay students, fine. Now food moves along the alimentary canal in a regulated way. What do you mean by regulated way? This means that the different components of food is broken down in different organs, and while the food is moving through each organ is going to process, means break down the food moving through it. Now we will come to the way the food moves. The food moves with the help of a rhythmic contraction and relaxation, and this movement, this rhythmic contraction and relaxation movement of the alimentary canal, this is called peristaltic movement. You can get a definition of peristaltic movement, and then you have to write that this is the movement of the alimentary canal which helps to push the food forward, and this is a rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the alimentary canal. Okay. Now from mouth, the food enters the stomach through a long pipe called esophagus. Esophagus has no role of digestion. It simply allows the food to pass through it. And the muscular walls of the stomach help in mixing the food thoroughly with more digestive juices. Now what are the digestive juices in the stomach? We'll come to that. Now the stomach, gastric glands are present in the stomach. They secrete gastric juice. Now this gastric juice contains HCl, pepsin and mucus. What HCl does? HCl creates an acidic medium which facilitates action of pepsin. Now this is pepsin. Now in higher classes you will study that pepsin is not present in the form of pepsin. It is present in the form of an inactive enzyme, proenzyme, that is called pepsinogen. This pepsinogen has to be converted into pepsin, and that is done only with the help of HCl. Now what is the work of this pepsin? Pepsin helps in digestion of proteins. And mucus, which is present in the gastric juice, protects the internal lining of stomach from action of acids. That means HCl does two functions. One is creates an acidic medium which facilitates action of pepsin, and the other is kills germs present in the food. Now this is frequently asked, what are the two functions of HCl? So please be clear about it. I am trying to just give you an outline, and I am trying to be as precise as possible, because you have to follow strictly the NCERT. So I am not going for any more knowledge than what is required by the NCERT. Now from stomach, in the diagram of digestive system, from stomach the food is passed into the small intestine. This is the C-shaped part, that is the duodenum part of the small intestine, and here there are sphincter muscles present. These sphincter muscles help in passing the food little by little into this C-shaped part. This whole procedure takes generally 4 hours, and after 4 hours this bag is emptied and you start feeling hungry again, because the food has been pushed into the small intestine. Okay. Now from stomach, food enters the small intestine, and this opening is regulated with the help of sphincter muscles. Small intestine is longest part of alimentary canal, which is highly coiled. You all know this. Herbivores have a longer small intestine for the digestion of cellulose than carnivores. This I have already told you. Now come to this. Now this is the final part in your syllabus, that the food gets digested completely in the small intestine. Now the small intestine receives the secretion of liver and pancreas. Okay. Now what liver does? Liver secretes bile. This you have to remember, and the work of the bile is to emulsify the fats. Emulsify fats. Now what do you mean by emulsification? Students, you can do a small activity over here. That activity is that you take oil in a take water in a bowl and you add little bit of oil in it, you will find that the oil is formed like droplets. And and after that you add a little bit of detergent powder and mix it thoroughly. Then you will find that it has formed an emulsion. Exactly, this is the action of bile on the fats that we eat. That is, bile emulsifies the fats. And now we have pancreas. Pancreas secrete pancreatic juice, because after the food passes from when the food is in the duodenum part of the small intestine, that is over here, this part, then it has the secretions, one coming from the liver and the other coming from the pancreas. Liver secretes bile, okay, and the food that is coming from the stomach, it has an acidic medium. It has to be converted into the alkaline medium. And here the pancreas is going to secrete what? Pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice contains pancreatic amylase, pancreatic lipase and trypsin. Pancreatic lipase will break down the maltose. Pancreatic lipase will digest the fats and trypsin is going to digest proteins. Now here pancreatic amylase, which is going to break down maltose. Where has this maltose been formed? Maltose has been formed in the mouth. The first digestion of food starts in the mouth. Where in the mouth what happens? Whatever glucose you are eating, not glucose, whatever sugar you are eating, that or carbohydrates you are eating, that has been converted to maltose in the mouth. And after that, this maltose will be acted upon by the various juices. And finally here, when the food comes to the small intestine, it contains gland which secrete intestinal juice, and this intestinal juice is going to do the final process of digestion of food. That is, carbohydrates will be converted into glucose, fats into fatty acids and glycerol, and proteins into amino acids. These are the three things you have to remember, that the final product of digestion, it takes place in the small intestine. Let me write it down what it is. Now here see, carbohydrates, final product of carbohydrates is glucose. Then you have proteins. Proteins is finally broken down into amino acids. And third, you are going to have fats. This will be broken down into fatty acids and glycerol. This is the final product of digestion, and this final product of digestion takes place where? This takes place in the small intestine. Because I told you earlier also that the small intestine has intestinal glands. These intestinal glands secrete the intestinal juice, and this intestinal juice is responsible for breaking down carbohydrates into glucose, proteins into amino acids, fats into fatty acids and glycerol. Now the digestion of carbohydrates has already started in mouth, but in mouth what happens? In mouth, suppose I write over here, in mouth starch is converted into maltose. Salivary glands are responsible for the secretion of ptyalin. Another name of ptyalin is salivary amylase. Please have it clear in your mouth, all these points. And final product of digestion is this side I have written, that is glucose, amino acids, fatty acids and glycerol. Now this final product of digestion which is there, this is going to be absorbed by the inner lining of small intestine. Now the inner lining of small intestine has numerous finger-like projections called villi, which increases the surface area for absorption of digested food. Now the villi has to be richly supplied with blood vessels, and now this absorbed food is utilized for energy and then building of new tissues and growth and development. Okay. Now finally what happens, that the unabsorbed food that is there, that is sent into large intestine where only water is absorbed. Rest of the material is removed from body by anus, and wall of the anus is regulated again with the help of sphincter muscles. That is, if you come to the diagram of digestion, this wall is also regulated with the help of sphincter muscles. Now in your junior classes, I think so, this you can see the diagram of digestive system over here also. So I will try to tell you. So in the junior classes also you must have heard that in the process of digestion, what all is there? First is your ingestion, that is taking enough food. After ingestion is digestion. After digestion, what happens is absorption. After absorption, what is there? Assimilation. Absorption is what? Absorption of digested food, that is absorption of the fats, that is after converting into fatty acids and glycerol, absorption of glucose and absorption of amino acids. Then you have assimilation, and finally there is egestion, throwing out the undigested food out of the body. What is assimilation? Assimilation is utilization of the absorbed food to release energy, like you studied just now. And what is egestion? Egestion takes place through the anus where undigested food matter, undigested food is thrown out. That means where water is absorbed? In large intestine. So that means water is absorbed where? Over here in the large intestine. No, digestion takes place in the large intestine part. The complete digestion and the final process of digestion takes place in the small intestine, that is in the duodenum and the jejunum, and little bit in the ileum. And finally in the ileum and jejunum and ileum part also the food is digested food is absorbed into the blood. Now this completes your digestive system. Hope you have understood it properly. Any point which you have not understood or you want it to be explained, please tell it to me on WhatsApp. Thank you, students.